Welcome to another video tutorial on date and time in Excel. In our last video tutorial on date and time in Excel, we look at Excel workbook function on date value and days function. Today, we'll be looking at more Excel workbook function on date and time in Excel. Specifically, we'll be looking at the EDATE function, the EOMONTH function, and the today's function in Excel. Come on, let's go. Yeah, the EDATE function returns the serial number of the date that is in a number of months away from a date. And the syntax to use is EDATE, bracket open, start date, comma, the month, you close the brackets. In this argument, in this syntax, the start date is a valid date that represents the starting dates, while the month is the number of months before or after the start date. And there's something that you need to know about this month is that if you use a positive value for months, it will yield you a future date. And if you use a negative value for the month, it will yield you a past date from the start date. Don't worry. Let's see how this plays out. So, as you can see in the table that I have below my EDATE function, we have in the equation column, you can see the EDATE A1. A1 here is the cell that contains a date. The date is 27/02/2009. So the result that you get, and comma 1, once you close the bracket to press enter, the result that you get will be 27/03/2009. And if you are using a serial date, you will get 39899. Let's try this out and see. So now I'm going to be using, this is going to be my A1. I'm using the same date, 2009. So now I'm going to be calling out my EDATE function. Now I'm selecting my cell that contains my start date, and I'm using the same example. I'm using just one month. Then I press enter. You see, Excel is giving me the same date here, 27/03/2009, same as we have in the result in the first row here at the result column. So now let's assume, okay, we want to even use a date that is a serial date, just like this, 39871. So I'm using the EDATE, calling the EDATE function again. I'm selecting my dates, my start date, and the months. I'm using same 1 month. Voila! See, Excel is giving me the serial dates, the results, adding 1 month to the date. So this is 39899. As you can see, this is the same thing with what we have here, because this same serial date is the same thing that if I convert it to a short date, you see that the same thing as this 27/02/2009. If you can remember from our previous video, I explained how to convert this date serial to the normal dates. You can either click Ctrl+1. You can either click right click and select the format option, or you come to the home pane here and select the number format here to select the short date function. You see it's showing me, or you can use the short keyboard code Ctrl+1 to bring out the function, the number formatting window. So let's go. Let's try more examples. So still using this same date, let's try let's use the EDATE function adding 100 months to this same date, 100 months. And I press enter. You see, the same way that we have here, 27/06/2017. What does this mean? It means that Excel is adding 100 months to the start date. This Excel workbook function is good when you have probably you want to take you want to have a function, or you want to calculate the number of months. You have number of months that you want to use to calculate maybe tax, or you want to calculate tax, you want to calculate depreciation, or you want to calculate appreciation on a particular asset, and you want to calculate the number of months that it will take. You want to check the date that, okay, if you have a particular number of months, you want to check the due date. This function is very good for you to use to track that. As you can see here, in 100 months, you have 100 months. That's exactly, we have 12. You have 12 months in 100 months, with some extras. I think with three month extra or 6 month extra. So that's why we are getting 2017. So 12 months makes 1 year. So in 100 months, we have 12 months, which means we have 8 years. We had 8 years in 2009, that gives 2017. Then the remaining months, that's why we're having 06 year. So now let's try negative figure. So I'm still going to be using my EDATE function. Then I'm using this as my start date. Now I'm going to be using a negative months, -1. You see, the Excel is subtracting 1 from the months that we have from the start date, and it's giving us a past date. So that's that with the EDATE function. So there's more Excel workbook function that I want to introduce to us today. So another one that we have is the EOMONTH workbook function. The EOMONTH workbook function returns the serial number for the last day of the month. So the EO workbook function, the syntax to use is the EOMONTH bracket open start date, comma, month, then you close brackets. So the start date, just like the EDATE function, the start date must be a valid date that represents the starting date, while the month is the number of months before or after the start date. Same thing here, we can use a positive or negative value for the month. If you use a positive value for the month, it will yield you a future date. And if you use a negative value for the month, it will yield you a past date. Just like we did earlier, let's try this out to see how this EOMONTH function works. So I'm going to be using a date. So our date will be 27/02/2009. So now I want to use the EOMONTH function. So EOMONTH, I'm selecting my start date. This is my start date. And I'm using, let's start with 10. We're adding 10 months to it. I press enter. As you can see, Excel is showing me 31/12/2009. So what happened? Excel has added 10 months to the number of months that we have here, to the number of months that we have in this start date here. So easy peasy, Japan easy. It is that easy. Excel workbook for Excel date and time workbook function is that easy to use. So same thing if you want to use the EOMONTH function for 100 months using the same start date. And I'm using 100 months. Same thing. You see, it's giving us it's giving us the same result. So now, there's another thing you need to understand with this workbook function here, that it's giving you the day in the month will be the last day of the month. As you can see for this June, for this month of June here, you know, the month of June ends in 30, it has 30 days. So it's giving me 30th of June 2017. But if you see for our previous example, December has 31 days. So it's showing 31/12/2009. So that's another thing you need to understand about the workbook function, that it will show you the last day of that month, of the resulting month, in the number of months that you are adding to the start date. So the same thing if you use a negative value, the EOMONTH will still recognize it and give you a past date. So I'm using this same start date, and I'm using -2 this time around. You see, voila, to take us back to, instead of it giving me January, normally if I use -1, like what we use in the example in the table above here, it's giving us January. But if you subtract another one, because I use -2, it takes us to 2008, which is the previous year, and the previous month, which is December. You see, so, and December is 31 days. That's 31 days, so that's why we have 31/12/2008 here. So easy peasy, Japan easy. Remember to like and subscribe to our channel to get more training videos from us here. And remember, you can drop a comment if you have any questions or any part of this tutorial that you do not understand. So another workbook function I would like to show us today, I have two more workbook functions to show us today. I actually have two more workbook functions to show you today. So we have the month workbook function and the today workbook function. So the month workbook function returns the numeric value of the month in a valid date. If you have a date and you want to get the number of months that you have in the date, either you have the month in the date in you have the normal if you have the date in serial format, it will show you the number of months that you have in the date. So this is very good this is good to get the number of months, especially when you have the date in serial Excel and the date serial, and you want to know, okay, how many months do I actually have in this workbook function is good for you to get the number of months that you have in that date. So now let's see how this workbook function, this month function works. So let's assume I have just like you have in this table that we have below here, the workbook function, the syntax you use is the month, then you have the date in serial. Another thing you need to understand about this month function is that the dates must be in text. They must be in text format for you to be able to get the workbook function, for you to be able to get the resulting month. So let's try this out. So as you can see in the table below here, what I have in the table example here, you have the month, the date must be in text. That if it is not in text, you must put it in quotation mark, double quotation mark, like this, like what you have in this first row here. So you'll be able to get the number of months that you have in that date. So it gives us 10 here. So like you can see in the second example, in the second row here, months, and you have the dates in serial formats. So it's showing you the date, the number of months that you have in the date here. So this date serial that you have here is equivalent to 20/03/2011. So let's try this out to see. So I'm going to be using the month function. So let's say I'm using the date serial 4622. Enter. You see, it's giving me 3. So what I have there is 3. So I'm going to be using another date. Let's see another date. Let's try. Let's put the date in text format 1905. So enter. You see, the months that we have there is 10. So easy peasy, Japanese. So the other workbook function that I would like to introduce to us before we draw the curtain on our tutorial for today is the today's workbook function. So today's workbook function is good for you if you just want to get today's date. We are working in your Excel book and you want to get the today's date. Very easy. So just type equals to today. You see, I'm getting the pound name error format. Why am I getting this? Because I didn't finish the syntax. The syntax for the today's workbook function is today, then you put open bracket and close bracket, then you press enter. Because I do not add that, you see Excel is giving me an error message. So now let's try that again, and equals to today, bracket open and close bracket, and press enter. You see, then Excel is giving me today's date as using when I use the syntax today, bracket open, bracket close. So that's how Excel workbook function works. So now you now know how to use Excel today workbook function, month workbook function, the EOMONTH workbook function, the EDATE workbook function, and the EOMONTH workbook function. So thank you very much for staying tuned today to our video tutorial. Remember, please like and engage our video to encourage us, and if you have any specific training video that you like, please comment under the video and we'll definitely do a training video for you. Thank you very much for your time. To enjoy the rest of the day. Bye for now. Cheers.